What's up, everybody? It's your boy ShowtimeDr. So, I'm looking forward to the Langrisser mobile game that's coming pretty soon. I've started to parse out information because I missed the beta, and I decided to give you guys a little preview here of what I found, and I'm actually pretty intrigued so far, so let's just get to it here. In the background, I'll just be playing some stock footage, so enjoy that while you can. So, alright, so Langrisser facts, here we go. Initial content takes 1 to 2 months just to get to late late game rather. But game's constantly rotating dungeons, so you never really run out of PvE stuff to do. And the dungeons are also places where you farm late game for scrolls, runes, as well as SSR weapons and other mats. There's no pay-to-win element in progressing or pay-to-skip. The only pay-to-win mechanic is at whales where we'll constantly refill their stamina to max every day, which costs a lot of crystals, and crystals are the rare currency in this game. But if you are a normal player, it is recommended that you reset your stamina at least twice, which will cost you 40 crystals the first time and 60 crystals the second, so 100 a day until you hit level 50. So there's a recommendation there, because levels apparently are super important in this game, guys, but we'll get to that later. So around level 35, level 50 is the max, by the way. Level 35, you'll get your ultimate skill for certain heroes. These ultimates are tied to your camp. Pay attention to this camp thing, guys. It's really in-depth. Or faction, such as Princess, Dark, Protagonist, Light, Meteor, Tactical, etc. The ultimate effects, so these are like passive stat boosts and maybe some type of procs, only work on characters from the same camps. Each camp consists of different heroes, and some SSRs do overlap factions as well. I believe that means that they have multiple camps that you can technically identify them with. So maybe they get bonuses from multiple camps, so you can fit them in on different teams more. Kind of interesting there. Now what happens is, as you're progressing in the game, you'll summon heroes along the way. Pretty much whatever you summons determines what your faction you will work towards. All camps are viable, and all camps have their weak points. Here's a couple examples. Princess is weak tanks, Light lacks AoE, etc. But there's no broken camp apparently at launch. But according to the meta now in the Asian servers, Leiden and Leon are the camps that are slightly favored. But towards mid-late game, Dark camps become viable and dominate PvP because Dark has debuff. But Dark camps are not as good at PvE, so there is a limit there to their dominance in the mid-game. So rarely people will invest in them to start, because progression and leveling is super important. So basically what they're telling you guys is, you're going to be getting lots of characters on your initial rolls. If you try to focus more than, say, 2 camps, you're probably not going to get anywhere as fast as if you focus on whatever camps you got. So, technically, you should probably identify if you're going to be a reroller, which camps you want to go for, which heroes you want to go for, that overlap a certain thing, and then there'll be plenty of team combos, etc. Stuff like that, so... Alright, so let's keep going here. Leveling... Yeah, progression's most important. Let's see here. So in hero camps, there are an ultimate buff that they can receive. The faction buffs are essential after level 35, giving a huge boost to stats. So 20% to all stats, 30% for magic defense, etc. And there are 2 broad kinds of faction buffs. SR heroes have a standard faction buff, while SSR heroes have the standard buff and come with 1 additional effect. As an example, they mentioned Lita's deals 20% more damage when attacked, etc. There are non-overlapping, and only the latest will be in effect. In theory, you can deploy heroes from different factions, but they will be inefficient because they have no synergy with their faction buffs, etc. So here are the 9 factions in the game, or at least most of them here. Princess, it's nuking and distance. Glory, tank and retaliate. Dark, debuff galore. Strategist, cavalry rush. Meteor, assassin, hidden run, etc. So there's a lot of different builds for PvE, is basically what they're saying here. And then PvP and World PvP, there's a meta change due to about once a week due to different team compositions. Essentially rock, paper, scissors. So something will be dominating, and then someone will figure out a way to counter that, and then everyone will start to counter that hard, and there'll be a new thing. So it looks like PvP is never going to be like super standard per se. Let's go here. Max level SSRs outperform SRs and Rs in base stats, but many SR and R units are more OP in certain aspects because of their talents. Also, Rs and SRs are gathered easier, so you can raise their stats easy. In certain camps, SR units are as important as their SR counterparts, SSR counterparts. With the exception of the 2 SSR healers in the game that can be used within different camps. So, eventually I'll be making more videos on this game, guys, with more specific stuff, but this is a general overview for you guys to see if you're pretty interested in this game or not. So, new heroes that have released after launch have not become very meta because they've been geared more towards PvP, and they take a while to stat up and level up, etc. So you don't see them initially in like meta teams PvP. Well, sometimes in PvP, but not like PvE, etc. It's very hard for them to make an impact because they aren't built up yet, is essentially what I mean. So now, most people say that the balancing in this game's been pretty good, so that's pretty cool. And let's see here. Yeah, party balance is very, party balance in the game, balancing your heroes with their different factions, camps as they're called in this game, along with the buffs are very important. So here's how the grinding goes in this game, guys. So your regular dailies, Anarchists for troop training mats, automatons for XP pots, dragons for hero equipment, Memoria for affinity, presents, and bond keys, that's going to be items, goblins for gold, co-op battles and various different items of all the above, etc. that I just mentioned. And then temple bosses once you hit level 55 for special bonds and unlockables. So it sounds like there'll always be plenty to do, and there's always a rotating thing in this game, so apparently the dungeons don't really get that old. Now let's see here. Now when you grind a dungeon for the first time, you run the daily map, you'll get a daily bonus, and it's a pretty significant bonus. Much better than regular loot, so... But for those who don't have the time to grind, apparently that bonus is enough to make solid progress in the game, but for those of you that want to grind even more than that, you can do so, but it's at greatly reduced efficiency after the daily bonus. Now SSRs, as we said before, they got better stats than R characters and SR characters, but many SR characters are viable for late game content, and some are even required because they have key strategic skills that SSR heroes do not have. So an example, our hero Letitia has T0, which is apparently some skill. I'm gonna have to read up on it, but it's required consistently in PvP metas. And then heroes like Lester and Jessica are required for mini maps that are otherwise impossible, and both of those are our heroes as well. So there have been 2 major updates since it's been released in Korea. One of them is the main story, and then one of them is time rifts. Time rifts are basically maps from old Langrisser games that have been revamped. And apparently we're going to be getting those updates at the same rate as they got them on the Asian servers, supposedly. I've heard that before, but you know how that goes. And then since the meta tier list constantly gets updated on a weekly basis, the changes will be pretty drastic. So some heroes will go from like top tier to trash tier because they figure out ways to counter them in the next week. But essentially they're saying that the tier list is hardly useful in this game, except for the moment, because in world PvP, unless you're a whale and have access to multiple characters at max levels, etc., you're going to essentially have to really focus on counter maneuvers as far as PvP versus having the actual meta unit, etc. And then the last thing I got for you guys is the combat outcomes, the way that combat works in this game. There's a bunch of factors that affect it, and it's all pretty crazy, from terrain to skills to different factions, etc. So I'll read a couple of examples here. So attack and intelligence of the attacker, defense and magic defense of the defender, etc. That should go without saying. Skill damage modifiers usually have a higher damage multiplier. Types of skills may prioritize and bypass soldiers versus heroes, because there's heroes and then there's the soldiers behind them, guys. So then, go back, put up some more footage. Now attack speed. Clearly attack speed, which hero attacks first, that's going to matter, so that's going to be very important. As an example here, a high attack speed hero may kill enemy soldiers before the soldiers are able to deal damage. A hero with low attack speed may die prior to dealing damage, etc. So that should be self-explanatory. Types of strengths and weaknesses. So if you have a team that's you're strong against, you hit tanks harder, etc., or a certain team has weaker tanks, then probably you're going to wreck that team instantly almost. And then buffs and debuffs, of course, play a huge factor as well. And apparently really in the late game. And that's all I've put together just from the stuff I found as I was reading and going through that was important. Now, there's some guides that I'm going to go through. And I'm also going to start coming out with which heroes are going to be good. So if you guys are looking forward to this game, let me know. If you know more about this game, hey, feel free to share, you know. Add some more, maybe correct me if I misstated some things or if I missed something on it. And yeah, let me know if you guys are looking forward to playing this game at all, because I like it in the sense that it seems like it's going to be a constantly evolving game versus just you set up, you got these heroes, there's this new hero now, power creep, etc. Like, it seems like all that's going to be delayed a little bit, which actually kind of intrigues me, to be perfectly honest. But anyways, guys, I'm going to also add a tab to the Discord, so if you feel like talking, hanging out in this game, let me know. And I guess I'll do my promo now. So, yo, I'm ShowtimeDr, ShowtimeDr. You found my YouTube. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Also, there'll be a link to my Discord as well as my Twitch. As soon as this game releases, I'm going to be streaming it, as I'm sure a million other people will. And that's pretty much it, guys. So until the next video, I'll catch you guys later on. Peace out.